Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another recording of the African Speakers, Technology Speakers and Writers Forum. I'm very privileged today to have a good friend, somebody I admire greatly, on the show today, Hykie Berg, who is a very well-known actor, public speaker, award-winning author, and the winner of one of the survivors. So he's not just a geek, he can actually swing on trees and kill animals, probably, for all we know. But he's got so much to add. He's got an incredible personal story that we'll touch on, and also the work that he and his wife does with helping other people is incredible. But I think as a community, we will be able to learn so much from him. So Hykie, very welcome. Thank you for your time. Let's kick off. And you've got a story worth telling over 7 hours. Can you do it in 3, please?
Johan, thank you. It's a privilege to be on this call. It's wonderful to see you. So, in short, I'm a recovering addict. So I was a heroin addict for many years of my life, and really struggled to come clean. Went through a whole ritz of treatment facilities and mental health institutions, and eventually in 2000 I got clean for a little while. I had a couple of years clean time, and then I had a massive relapse, and so the industry that I'm in, the entertainment industry, did not know that I was a recovering addict. For about 7 years I kept it quiet. Nobody had to know about it. I went to Narcotics Anonymous, did what I had to do, and then I had a massive relapse. And so for about 2.5 years I went through an incredible binge, and so very tough time in my life. Lost a lot of work, I was fired all over the place, didn't have, I was in a lot of debt. I came out of Westkoppies and I had to move in with my mom. I literally, I used to smoke like a chimney, right? So I used to smoke BB tobacco with newspaper. That's what I had. I had to take the taxi, right? I drove around in taxis. I love taxis, man. You'll never be late for an appointment, okay? And so slowly but surely I got clean again. And then in 2010, I was invited to do Survivor, Maldives. And then I won that Survivor. But I had an incredible encounter with God, with my creator, on that island. And so that was definitely a shift. And I felt, I felt prompted to write my first book. And so I wrote my first book about my journey with addiction, dysfunctional families, codependent relationships, all of that stuff. And so it was an Afrikaans book. And when that book got published, my publisher phoned me. I was in Botswana at the time, and she said it's #1 in the country. And it stayed #1 for 6 weeks. And so that was such a highlight of my life, more than Survivor, though. And of course, the R1 million. Listen, it's wonderful getting R1 million in your bank account, right? And so I think that's where a lot of my things changed in my life. I still perform, I still act. We've got a whole bunch of, there's a series waiting for me this year. There's a film waiting for me. But it's only a means to an end. It's not my main focus anymore. I suppose for the last 15 years or so, speaking became the main chapter in my life. And so my speaking actually was birthed from my experiences. I've never put myself out there as a speaker. It was just a natural result of everything, because when I relapsed and I won Maldives, obviously, that whole period of my life, it was in the newspapers and it was all over, so kind of everybody got to know my secrets and that I'm out and I'm clean and everything. And so kind of that's where everything started. I then wrote a second book about mental health and ADHD and, a whole bunch of stuff like that. I got involved with a school group called Creative Kids that helps kids with learning disabilities. And I've just released my third book. And so this third book, which is called Called for More, because my message or my voice, that what I want to speak about is not really just about drugs and alcohol and stuff, but it's about overcoming, and it's really about the challenges and the things that keeps us stuck in life, right? Or the things that we think keep us stuck. Why do so many people just park off in the desert, right? And just accept like this second class citizen existence? Like, why do some people do that? And why do other people really go in and take in the promised land? And so my heart and my passion started developing for personal development. And so I got so involved in personal development, and in the process, I've got into the entrepreneurial space, right? I've done so many things. I'm not even going to start doing that. I had so many failures, but learning experiences, of course. There's no such thing as a failure. You and I know that. It was learning along the way. And so for the last 8 years, I've been involved in the in the affiliate marketing, direct distribution space across the world. We are in 44 countries. Can you believe it? We've got about 1,000 distributors. And just this weekend that have now passed, just this weekend, my wife and I won 3 out of the 4 international awards for global business builders, all of that stuff. So we've really had an incredible journey. And because of that, all of a sudden, well, for the last couple of years or so, I've been very involved in corporates, talking about leadership, purpose, calling. I'm still clean today. I've got a 2-year-old little baby girl, started a bit late though, right? My wife is a bit younger than me. Met her in the gym. She squatted in front of me. So that was quite, that's how I met her. And I'm super blessed. I am part of our church. I'm part of the preaching team of our church. So every, once in a while, I get the chance to preach to our congregation. I believe fellowship is so important, especially for men today. And my heart and my passion is still with helping recovering addicts. So I'm involved with a nonprofit called Hope Again Recovery Wellness. We've got 2 treatment facilities, one in Potch and one in Bloemfontein. We've got about 128 addicts and alcoholics and in Potch, and we've got about 48 in Bloemfontein. And we literally help the people from the streets. Really, literally, that has nowhere to go. They've got no support system. And so it's an NPO with 2 treatment facilities. But let me tell you, Johan, we are rocking. There are so many miracles happening there today. And we can testify the last 7 years of so many people that have recovered from that. It's not easy. We do a lot of fundraising for the NPO. And of course, people don't always want to help NPOs that do the work that we do, because the average person out there would rather give to, for example, a little baby girl that was born with an illness because she didn't choose it. Out there, society believes, well, if you're an addict, you chose to do it, so why must I give money to you? So it's very difficult, but we are making a lot of progress. And so my heart is still with people struggling with addiction and mental health. And so in short, that's our story. Very, very, very blessed. And as I said to you earlier, we're looking for a new home because we want to try to get another baby.
Populate the earth, Hykie. Listen, what I definitely will do when I post this video is some of the other videos, because your story is so inspirational. Because some people are addicts, or many of us have friends or family or loved ones with addiction, and it doesn't have to mean heroin. It could be many other things. But as you speak, in the times that we've spoken, you've got such confidence, such articulation. You're so good. Are you born with that, or do you learn that? And that's in particular for aspiring speakers. Because I don't know if I can be like you. You're so good. I almost feel like I don't want to speak at the conference.
Incredible speaking. I've seen you talk how many times? Come on, man. You are incredible. I learn from you. I learn from everybody. So absolutely no, you are not born with it. I don't believe that people are born a speaker, born an entrepreneur, born like at all. I mean, I know some of the greatest speakers, greatest actors that are introverts, like really, really, they don't like to be, amongst crowds. But I do believe that when you find your voice, when you find that thing that you want to add value, to people, when you've got a message and for a fact this will serve and this will help people, right? And it's the truth. You've got a magic formula, right? You've got something magical. I remember the first time I spoke in front of a big group of people. It was a corporate in Namibia. I was still on Egoli. It was 25 years ago, right? Or about 22 years ago. Johan, sorry to say this, but I literally peed my pants. I was so afraid. I had zero confidence. I was so insecure. But also at the time, I didn't know what my message was. There were so many things going through my mind. There were so many things happening in my life, and I haven't packaged it correctly, right? I haven't packaged it. So I do believe that there is, natural gifting does play a role a little bit. But every other area as a speaker you can develop. It's not about being an introvert. It's not about being an extrovert. It's not about having confidence or no confidence. It's about being prepared and knowing, not believing, knowing that you've got something of value to add to people. Now, of course, we all know as speakers, you stand in front, there's you don't want to be judged. You don't want to feel rejected. You want people to like what you have to say. So, of course, you can have all the confidence in the world, and you can have all the self-esteem in the world, and you can still be a complete boo-boo, right? Because there's skill. But let me tell you, Johan, this is the thing. I cannot tell you how many, of course, we all learn in the field, right? It's like acting. I studied my drama degree, went out, and I only actually learned in the field by doing it, to get better. There's no course that you can do in public speaking. You can read, How to Win Friends and Influence People from Dale Carnegie. You can do all Simon Sinek's courses. You can do everything. You can do everything that you want to. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to practice. You have to practice, and of course, you're going to fall flat on your face, because you will do gigs where you're going to fall flat on your face. And then it's about getting up and doing it again. Not letting the fear and the rejection and what you think other people think of you, don't let that, make you quit. Ever. You have to get up again, pull up a big old paddles, go stand in front of another audience, do it again and again and again. And of course, I cannot tell you how many free gigs have I done in my life. In the last 25 years, in the beginning, when I was invited to speak at churches and conferences and ladies' teas and get-togethers and organizations, I did it for free. First of all, I knew I was getting better. Also, it wasn't at the time about money. It was really about the message and the value that I know I could add to the audience. And of course, over time, I charge money today, and I charge a good fee. And the only reason for that is that time is of the essence, and for you as well. Time is probably the most important thing in my life at the moment. I cannot afford to stay away from my little girl and my wife for longer than 2 days if it's not worth it. I'd rather say no, stay at home, and wait for the next one when somebody can pay me.
Okay, there's so much you touched on that I resonate with, because the things I do around AI, responsible AI, future of our children. I was just a week at a massive banking fraud intelligence event. And yes, I was prepared. My slides were prepared, but I spoke from the heart as a father, the future of my child, the future of our children, the future of our country. And the audience resonates with that because it's passion that's coming out. And you can do it without slides if you have to. It's a story.
Absolutely. People relate to our brokenness. So it's about sharing brokenness, and we can connect with it. Now, after we've done that, we can connect on belief system or do whatever it is that we want to do. But it's about sharing our brokenness. I have never chatted with notes in front of me. Never. I've got an iPad that I've got there, and obviously you have to, when you do corporates and events where there's a certain theme or topic. Of course, all the companies has got their values and their mission statements and their vision. You have to fall in line with that. You've got to respect the mandate. So you have to do. You've got to do your homework. But I cannot talk with notes. I've got my structure. I can't know exactly what I want to say. And when you go in and you start talking from the heart, you suddenly go with this rabbit hole and then this rabbit hole and then this rabbit hole. And sometimes you don't even share half of the stuff that you wanted to share. But as long as you can connect with people, and here's the biggest thing about speaking. People are under the impression that, especially in corporate. So I've got this quote that says, we don't build schools, we don't build organizations, we don't build businesses. We build people, and people build schools. People build organizations, people build businesses. So even if I do a corporate, I was with CC Chickens the other day. So they're in Kroonstad. They're the biggest employer in Kroonstad, 1,000. They slug 400 chickens a week, let me tell you. And so I worked with the executive team and the CEO, and it was so special because it's emotional for a CEO to have established a company like that. You see how far they've gone. It's their little baby. And of course, when you can tap into all of that emotion and really, really give people hope. I mean, you've got a champion event. I went and I did a MediHelp event with Serago Gap Cover last week. And so MediHelp is a company that's been around for many years. It's an old government medical aid scheme. They've been around for 120 years. Can you believe it? Most companies fall flat on their face in the first two to 4 years. They've been around for 120 years. but they were a little bit leaderless. There's a toxic culture, and so the people just didn't kind of know. And I knew exactly what to do to go in there, just to get their buy-in, to know that it doesn't matter who you are, where you're going, what you believe or don't believe that you are busy with in this corporate culture. You as a human being are called for more than what you think. And all of us are called higher than where we currently are. We should all strive for a higher level of excellence. And it's an art of living, right? A higher level of excellence in everything that we do. And so that stuff inspires me.
Well, just listening to you is inspiring, Hykie. Maybe just before we conclude, so a young person who are keen to speak, not sure what the gig is yet, not sure what that passion is yet, because we grow up, we learn our things, but where do they start? How do you find that passion? What is that? I often tell people, what is the thing you want to be known about? You obviously, your struggles and addiction, etc., the journey took you there, like a Moses floating in a basket, if you would. But you're a young person and you want to contribute. How do you find that thing that will help other people speak and write about? What do you think?
I think it's important, first of all, to look at the motive. That's where you have to start. Like, what is your agenda? What is it that drives you? Why do you want to share what you want to share to people? What is the reason? Okay, that's the number one. That's the number one thing. Number two is, if you you're gonna have to go through a process of maturity, because all of us have to somehow grow strong roots as we get better and more credible as speakers, right? And those roots are only developed through tough and hard times, okay? And so I believe, it's like somebody coming to me that wants to be a performer, right? They want to get into the acting space. Do I have to go study drama for 3 years and kind of go that route? And I often say to people, we have social media, right? If you've got something to say, use your social media and start adding value to people, right? Start sharing your message, but add value to people. That's what people want, okay? I would say start there. And then, of course, I never went to a Toastmasters. I never joined, BNI and all of these kind of networks where people started sharing. But there are brilliant places where you can start training yourself to be a speaker. And also, another great place to start is your church. Start at your church, because if you've got a testimony, right? What is it that we do, Johan? We share, we talk, we share testimonies, we share hope. We talk about real life things that has happened that will give people hope and inspire people, right? It's called a testimony. Start there. Start with your group, right? And so eventually people will invite you to come and share whatever it is that you have to share. Go, right? And then, of course, not everybody are men of faith, but I am a man of faith. I believe that prayer and staying close to God is super important, because at the end of the day, speaking is not the most important thing in the world. It's not. And I often sit and I pray very carefully before I say yes to something, because I believe, is that where God wants me to be? And if it's not the season, then I'm just not going to do it. But then also, follow people, watch all the TED Talks, watch what people do on TED, right? TED is an incredible tool for people to learn from. Simon Sinek now has a course. It's $259. I think it's worthwhile. It's 5,000 Rand, but it's a course on public speaking. And so I worked with a lady, which is the CEO of a massive glass company. And she phoned me and she said, Hykie, you must help me. I do not know how to, because they fly to Germany and they do a whole bunch of excos, and she has to present her talk to so many international people. And she gets afraid. So I worked with her and I said, go do that course. Do the course first, then come and chat with me, because now you've done the work and you've picked up a few basic little things. And of course, I can help people structure a talk, because you can be the best speaker, but if the audience doesn't remember what you said, you have failed, right? But it's about getting up. You don't have to be an extrovert. You don't have to be a clown. You don't have to be the one always, trying to get attention. That's not what speaking is all about. Just go out there and do it. Just do it. Find any opportunity where you can talk and find mentors. find mentors, chat with people that have done it, and you've got to want to grow as a speaker.
Oh, Hykie, just the gold and the nuggets that you've shared is incredible. Our audience will learn so much from it. Well-known actor, great author, amazing story. Hykie, I want to post the link to your books, to your story when I publish this video. You're a good friend and an amazing man. I appreciate your time, and I wish you the best of God's blessings for you and your family.
Thank you, Johan.
May you just get better and better and bigger and bigger in what you do going forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.